The auto industry is a significant part of the American economy. One of the most important names in that industry in the late 20th century was Lee Iacocca. He was an innovator and visionary who contributed to the development of some of the most iconic automobiles ever made in America and saved one of the big three from almost certain bankruptcy. His work at Ford Motor Company and the Chrysler Corporation left a lasting impact on American business and culture. In the 1950s, Lee Iacocca was working as an assistant sales manager for Ford Motor Company's Philadelphia district. He gained national attention for what began as a local sales promotion. The 56 for 56 campaign offered loans for 1956 model cars with 20% down payment and $56 monthly payments for 3 years. The idea gained the attention of executives, and Iacocca soon found himself at Ford's headquarters in Dearborn, Michigan. By 1960, he was vice president and general manager of the Ford division, and by 1970, he was president of Ford. While at Ford, Iacocca was instrumental in the development of several iconic Ford models, including the Ford Mustang. It was the age of the American muscle car. But Iacocca saw coming that there would be a need for small, domestically produced, fuel-efficient vehicles. Ford's European subsidiary was already producing one, the Ford Escort, but Iacocca wanted a brand new design for this American model. In 1971, Ford introduced a car that weighed less than 2,000 pounds and cost less than $2,000, the Ford Pinto. There were problems. In 1977, an issue was discovered with the design that could result in a fire should there be a rear-end collision. So in 1978, there was a massive recall that involved all Ford Pintos made between 1971 and 1976. That same year, Iacocca was fired. It didn't matter that Ford profits were more than $2 billion that year. Henry Ford II and Lee Iacocca just did not get along. In the later 1970s, Chrysler Corporation appeared to be heading for financial disaster. They just sold off their European division, Peugeot, to help generate cash, but they needed more help. They hired Iacocca, who immediately began restructuring Chrysler, with the help of many who had previously worked with him at Ford. Iacocca realized that if Chrysler didn't receive a large infusion of cash, they would not survive. In 1979, he asked the U.S. Congress for a loan guarantee. It was granted with the understanding that Chrysler would do all it could to cut costs, including getting rid of some product lines that had been in development for far too long. Apparently, Chrysler was too big to fail. Once Chrysler was sure of stability, Iacocca began directing the manufacture of new product lines that would attract the attention of the public. The first of these was the K-Car line, the Dodge Aries and Plymouth Reliant, which were released in 1981 when America was in the midst of a recession. These small, affordable, and easy-to-drive cars sold very well, putting Chrysler in a much better financial position. When Iacocca left Ford for Chrysler, he brought more than a few people with him. He brought ideas, especially for one product that he called the Mini-Max, something that Henry Ford II said was a terrible idea and the public would never accept. In 1983, Chrysler introduced the Dodge Caravan and the Plymouth Voyager and made automotive history with the minivan. Chrysler minivans led the industry in sales for 25 years. Chrysler made money, so much that they repaid their government-backed loans 7 years earlier than the due date. During this time, Iacocca appeared in several commercials for Chrysler, starting with one series that they called "The Pride is Back." And he also coined his trademark phrase, "If you can find a better car, buy it." In 1987, Iacocca also led an acquisition. It was AMC, which brought the Jeep under the umbrella of the Chrysler Corporation. They released the very popular Jeep Grand Cherokee the same year that Iacocca retired in 1992. Following his retirement, Iacocca involved himself in several business ventures and a variety of charity and public issues. He often said he failed at retirement. He never felt as if he could stop being involved, and even had to say something about issues that Chrysler faced following the Great Recession of 2008. In a 2009 Newsweek interview, he said, quote, "This is a sad day for me. It pains me to see my old company, which has meant so much to America, on the ropes. But Chrysler has been in trouble before, and we got through it, and I believe they can do it again. No one wants Chrysler to survive more than I do." He continued working and training business professionals until the symptoms of Parkinson's disease would no longer allow it. His book, Where Have All the Leaders Gone?, left a legacy of questions for Americans, however, that many people still study. It's about American values and how you can be successful and you can give back. Lee Iacocca was somebody who we really need to know more about. There's not much out there as far as scholarship on him. So it's important to look at these business leaders and see what made them different.